Hello again, it's Jennifer Nassy with Learning Leaf LLC, and welcome to video 11 of my 30 Videos in 30 Days series. So today I thought would be a good opportunity to talk about supplements. So we've been talking about anti-inflammatory diets and things like that, and I wanted to address the role of supplements in that picture. So I am not someone who advocates taking a whole slew of supplements for a variety of things, but there are a few that really I do feel can be a cornerstone of your health. So one of them is a whole food supplement. So we have talked about how often we don't get nearly the amount of vegetables that we think we do. We don't get the range of vegetables that we need, so we're not getting all of the different nutrients and phytonutrients that our body is needing for optimal functioning. And then also there's the issue of where our food comes from. And we'll talk a bit more about that when we start talking about toxic loads and organic versus non-organic and all of those things. But keep in mind things like if we're eating conventional produce, it can come from nutrient depleted soils, so it already is lacking a little bit in what we could be getting from it. If we're buying produce that's coming from far away, sometimes thousands of miles away, that's going to hurt its nutritional content to some extent. And again, there's also conventional produce, say like tomatoes, that are often picked when they're not even ripe yet, and then they're chemically ripened. Ugh. So, there's a lot going on there in our food system and where we get our food from and the kinds of nutrients then we're able to put into our body. So a whole food supplement is a great way to bridge the gap. And I do have a favorite. People who work with me know that if I can find a high quality product at their local store that they can go and pick up, I am all for that. But there is one particular whole food supplement that I do advocate, and that is Juice Plus. And the reason I have thrown my hat behind that, so to speak, is because of the quality of processing that I can speak to the fact that they take 17 fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. They juice them and then they dry them at a very low temperature, which preserves the enzymes and the nutrient content. So I know when we talked about raw foods, how I talked about how important those enzymes are, and when we cook our foods, those enzymes break down and we lose a lot of the nutrition. So I know through their processing that that is in fact intact and preserved for your body to use. As a practitioner, I'm always eager too to see research behind a product, and Juice Plus has done a really great job of researching the effect of their product. And it's not a case of we're just going to do some in-house researching and then we'll give you the results, which obviously leaves a lot of room for bias. But they send it out to universities all over the world, and they have done lots of double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, which is the gold standard out there. And they found some really amazing things. Now, it's not any surprise to me what they found, because these are all things we know fruits and vegetables do in general for our body. Things like boost immunity. It reduces markers of inflammation. So taking it, you know that it's helping to quiet that inflammatory response in your body. Improving markers of heart disease, so things like cholesterol, blood pressure, artery elasticity, all of that good stuff. Protecting our DNA, so especially as we get older. So there's lots and lots of benefits that I've been able to see. Also work they've done with athletes in terms of their performance and their recovery time after intensive workouts. So there's just so many wonderful studies out there for me to pull from that I can say to people that I work with, I can tell you what this is going to do for you and what this is going to do in your body. And there's just not a lot out there that I can do that with. So it gets me kind of excited, really, to share this product. If it's something that you are interested in learning more about, you can go to learningleafjuiceplus.com, and on there you will find more about what's in it, how it's produced, and even the research studies that I've been talking about, some of those results from those. Now, there are other whole food based supplements out there, and I'm sure there are some really great products out there. So certainly you can explore that as well. It's just that I can't speak to the quality of their production and again how exactly that's going to function in your body. If you are not ready to go to a whole food supplement, it is a big commitment and definitely a financial one as well, but I look at it as not only helpful in terms of the healing process, but in terms of prevention going forward. But I completely understand if you are in a place where you want to do more of like a multivitamin. then what I recommend is getting a whole foods-based multivitamin. Now, what's the difference between a whole food supplement and a whole food-based multivitamin? So in the supplement, in the whole food supplement, you're getting the whole deal. You're getting all of those nutrients, antioxidants, phytonutrients, everything that was in that fruit or vegetable minus the fiber, right, and the water. So in a whole food based vitamin, multivitamin, what they're doing is they're picking isolated nutrients and putting it into that vitamin. So if you think of a carrot, we all think of beta carotene, right? But that's only one thing in that carrot. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of other nutrients in there that our body can utilize and antioxidants, and those aren't making it in there. So with a whole food-based multivitamin, it's the same thing. They're picking and choosing certain nutrients that we know are beneficial for health. You are going to miss out on the rest of it, but because it is whole food based, your body is going to know what to do with it. It's going to be able to assimilate it much better than a synthetic vitamin. So you can go to your Whole Food store and ask them. They should have a variety of options for you. Megafood is a brand I'm familiar with. So the Raw Code, I think, is another one from Garden of Life. So there's some different ones that you can try out and see how they work in your body. Another thing I've mentioned before is essential fatty acids, right? And how those play a big role in regulating inflammation in our body. And we often don't get enough. If you're not eating fatty fish at least twice a week, so things like salmon and cod, then odds are you're not getting enough of essential fatty acids. And if you have a chronic health condition, you for sure want to be taking those. So one of the brands I recommend is Nordic Naturals. Again, I know quite a bit about how that product is processed, and I feel good in recommending that. They also have one that is called Ultimate Omega, which is going to give you a much more concentrated dose. So if you're really wanting to quell inflammation, if you have a chronic illness going on, that is one that might be right for you. Essential fatty acids, again, they're ones that we can't get or we can't make ourselves. We have to get them from our diet. So what do you do if you are vegan and you don't consume animal products? You don't want to do fish oil. Well, flax oil is an alternative that you can do. So flax oil, our body has to convert for us to be able to utilize it. So it is a little less efficient, but it still is a great healthy option. And you can either take it on its own, put it on your salads and your salad dressing, you can throw it in a smoothie. There's lots of things you can do with that. So one other thing I want to talk about are probiotics. We've heard a lot more about those recently, right? And when I talked about optimizing digestion, probiotics play a big role in that. So probiotics help build up the healthy gut flora, and we need that. It helps protect us from illness. It helps keep things like yeast, Candida albicans, from growing out of control in our body and wreaking havoc. And those little buggers actually help us assimilate some of the things that we're eating, some of our nutrients better. So they are very, very important, and most of us are not getting enough of them in our diet. In traditional cultures, most people were eating fermented foods. If you think about, traditionally pickled foods, sauerkraut, things like that, yogurt. And yogurt, there is a caveat there. The yogurt that a lot of people are consuming now is loaded with sugar. So if you're doing yogurt, you want to be getting the sugar-free kind. Believe it or not, I'm going to recommend you get the full fat kind. Again, fat does not make you fat, and it's going to help you assimilate those fat-soluble vitamins that are in that yogurt. And so that is a way you can get probiotics in. If you want to try some of the fermented foods like the sauerkrauts and pickles, you want to get the ones in your refrigerated section. Bubby's is a great brand. The water's going to look cloudy. You're going to see the good stuff in there that you want to be getting into your body. So the ones that are shelf stable, they often have other additives in there, and they do not have the good bacteria that we need. But for people who just aren't going to get enough fermented stuff in their diet, you can look at a probiotic supplement. You can do coconut water kefirs. Those are actually quite delicious and they're inexpensive. EcoBalance is one that my family uses. You can purchase a probiotic supplement, and again, you're going to want to look for one that has a variety of strains in there, so you're getting different kinds of good bacteria in your gut. When I am looking at optimizing digestion with clients, we take it a step further because often if they're having digestive issues, that flora is really depleted. So then I'm going to pull out some bigger guns. We're going to go to something that's more like a Metagenics probiotic because, again, that I can guarantee its potency, how it was produced, and what they're going to be getting, whereas in the store it's sometimes a little bit harder to tell. So those are just things to kind of, pay more attention to, think about if that's something that you want to add in and sort of help your system work as optimally as it can. So there is a role, however, for isolated nutrients, and that's when we take higher quantities of particular nutrients to help us in our healing process. For myself, for example, when I was at my sickest, I had lost a ton of weight. I was malabsorbing. I had a lot of gastrointestinal issues and I needed some serious help. So at that point in time, going on a medical food was appropriate for me. Going on a whopper of a probiotic was appropriate for me. Going on an herbal supplement to help control the candida overgrowth was definitely needed. And because I wasn't absorbing things well, I was nutrient deficient in certain areas. And so I needed B supplements for a time and vitamin D supplements for a time and CoQ10 and some other things. Those are things that your healthcare provider can also help you work through. Vitamin D is one that's come into the limelight recently, and that is one that many, many, many people are deficient in and don't realize it, and it plays a huge role in immunity. It plays a big role in calcium absorption even, and so that's something that's a simple blood test. When you go in for your physical or your annual, you can just ask to be tested, see where your levels are, and then if that's something that you are needing to supplement with. So when I am working with clients, depending on their case, it can be very individual in terms of what kinds of supplements we pull in. Typically, those are for a short period of time during the time that they're really trying to heal and rebuild their system. And then we're looking at more of that maintenance mode and how to just keep their system, really functioning the best it can and stay in more of a preventative place. So things, again, you want to be thinking about are whole food supplements or a whole food multivitamin, probiotics, fish oil, and then I would recommend getting your vitamin D tested. But if you have some other specific concerns, things going on, feel free to reach out to me. Let's set up a time to talk, and certainly reach out to your care provider as well. So stay tuned. I'll be back tomorrow to talk a bit more about where this journey is going to be headed. I look forward to talking to you then.